We're going to take it old school today and talk about Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie was born in 1910. She was one of three kids. She was a poet and she liked to be on stage. She met Roy Thornton the second year of high school, and they were married 6 days before she turned 16. They never divorced, but she was actually wearing the ring he gave her when they found her body afterwards. Thornton was actually killed trying to escape prison for a 5-year sentence on a robbery. Meanwhile, Clyde he was the fifth of seven kids. He was born in 1909. And he was arrested at 17 when he ran from police for not returning a rental car. And then he was arrested shortly after for being in possession of stolen turkeys. They actually met each other in January of 1930. They were 19 and 20 years old. By that point, as I said, Clyde was a established criminal. He had been arrested for a couple different reasons. And a few months after they met, he actually ended up going to Eastham Prison. And while he was there, he was essayed. And he took a pipe and he crushed the guy's skull. A person who was there doing life decided to take credit for the crime. And so Clyde didn't want to do hard labor, so he cut off 2 of his toes. Turns out his mom had petitioned for him to be released early, and he was released 6 days later, so he cut off his toes for no reason. When he got out in 1932, he ended up joining the Barrow Gang, which also included Bonnie. They then went on a 2-year crime spree. They robbed all sorts of places. Clyde actually did more robberies on his own than he did with the gang. He said that he did it to get back at the Texas prison system, and it wasn't to become some notorious thug. He was mad at the Texas prison system for what they had put him through. So he went and did all these robberies on his own. And then the Barrow Gang also did robberies together. And they were tallied at actually ending the lives of about 13 people, 9 cops, and 4 civilians. They had been trailed throughout numerous states, and Louisiana and Texas had kind of come together at that point. And they were actually found May 23rd of 1934 in Louisiana. And they had actually shot up the car with... They had released 130 rounds. 112 hit the vehicle. 17 hit him, 26 hit her, and both of them actually were also hit in the head with the bullets. They wanted to be buried together, but her family was not having that. So she actually had a funeral that had 20,000 people, and her family had a hard time getting to her. And he was actually buried with his brother, where they have a very simple tombstone. At the scene of the crime, when it happened, people ran to the scene, and they were grabbing any souvenir they could get, which was shell casings, clothing. Somebody tried to cut off Clyde's ear. They ended up becoming very famous, as you all know, and they had different movies made about them, songs and whatnot. And if you go to Alcatraz Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, you can see this. This is not the actual car. It is a replica from one of the movies that the car was in. So this isn't the actual car. The Alcatraz Crime Museum actually has Ted Bundy's car, the white Bronco, and Dillinger's car, but this is a replica of the car from a movie. The actual car is in a casino in Nevada. That's actually a picture that I took when I went there about 2 years ago. It's very strange to see these cars up close and personal. I thought that was actually Bonnie and Clyde's actual car until I found out that it was actually in a casino on display. I had to look it up and be like, wait a minute, I thought I saw the real car. I saw the replica of the one that was in the movie. However, if you do go to Alcatraz, which any true crime person, I suggest you go there. But they do actually have the white Bronco and the VW bug that Ted Bundy had with the front seat still gone, and Dillinger's car. And they have them all lined up. And when you go to OJ's car, actually, they show the police chase on a video in front of the car. So if you've never been to Alcatraz in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, I suggest you go. It's about $25 a ticket to get in. If you're a real true crime buff, you don't really learn a whole lot because it's very publicized situations, but it's still really fun to go to, and I suggest that anybody who's into true crime goes.